So I didn't just wake up one day and decide I wanted to be an orthodontist. It was something that gradually happened over time. The earliest memory that I have of wanting to be somebody, thinking about what I wanted to do when I grow up, was when I was in first grade. I remember I wanted to be a movie director because I love movies. I was hooked on TV. I was addicted to TV. It's actually how I learned English when I came to America. I was just a TV junkie, and I don't recommend that as a way of learning a language, by the way, especially with how bad things are on TV nowadays, but it's a great, it helped me and it was a blessing. But anyway, I wanted to be a movie director. I love movies. And then I started getting interested in medicine. I started getting interested in how the body works. And I thought, boy, I want to be a brain surgeon. I was just so fascinated by this idea of the brain and how it worked, and that you could get up there and tinker with it and fix it. And then I started to think too about what kind of a life do neurosurgeons have? What does it take? And I started reading that it took all this time, and that a lot of them didn't get married until they were way older, or they would get married and then their marriages would fail during residency, and it was such a demanding profession. And then it started stressing me out. I started feeling stressed because I was thinking, boy, like if I make a mistake, that could really be a big problem for someone. You know, they could become paralyzed, they could lose their sight, they could die. And so I was thinking maybe I need to reconsider this whole brain surgery thing. So the other element, the other layer of this was that my mom was a dentist. So when I was growing up, I saw her doing her dentist thing, and when we came to America, she went to school. First, she became a dental hygienist here in America. Then she went back to dental school. She got an American dental degree. When I was in high school is when she completed her American dental degree. And so I got to see her going to school, got to see, actually I was a part of that community, that dental school community with her when I was in high school. I met I met her professors. I met dentists who were being trained, dentists from other countries, just like my mom. And so I really liked the technical aspect. I liked working with my hand. I liked fixing things, and it still had the medical part of it. So you were still a doctor treating and diagnosing diseases, but it had this kind of also cool artistic part to it. And the other thing that was appealing was that dentists didn't work in a hospital. They worked in an office, you know, from 8 to 5, and dentists could come home and have dinner with their families, and usually there weren't too many emergencies that would pull them away from their family, and you could have your own business. So I kind of started to put all these things together, and dentistry seemed like a really appealing profession to me because of all those things. Because you could be an artist, you could be a doctor, you could be a technician, you're working with your hands, you're managing a team, you're leading a team, you're managing a business. So all those things appeal to me, and you could still have more of a balanced family life. I went to college, and in college, most people that go to medical school, or they know they're going to go to medical school or dental school, do some sort of a biology or a chemistry, some sort of a basic science degree. And going into college, I was really interested in engineering. I loved math. I really was good at physics and math, and I thought, you know, I could do an engineering degree. What if I decide to change my mind and I don't want to go to dental school after college? Because you got to go to college first. So I thought too, you know, I want to do something practical. I didn't think a biology degree or a chemistry degree was as practical as an engineering degree, where I could go get a job and work as an engineer if I didn't go to dental school. So those are some of the ideas that were going through my head, and I could use my physics and my passion for math also. And I went and I decided I was going to be a biomedical engineer. I was there the week of orientation, when you sign up for your classes, when all the other kids were going. There was like a social event, and I kind of had like social inhibitions growing up, coming from another country. That can be another video. But I sat in the room where they put me, and I went through the whole course catalog, like all the different degree options that the university had. And I was looking at engineering and I thought, biomedical engineering, this checks all the boxes, all the prerequisites for dental school, and I get to have an engineering degree, so this is really cool. Biomedical engineering is gonna be my degree. I planned out all my classes for all 4 years, and I pretty much stuck to that whole plan the whole time. And the way that God used that to guide me towards orthodontics was, as an engineering student, I won a contest and I was able to have some money to do research. It was like a stipend and I would get paid to do research. And of course I said, I'm gonna go to dental school, so I'm gonna go to the dental school and figure out a dental researcher that I can work with and do research with. And I met with several of them, and one of them was an orthodontist. And he was doing research on three-dimensional imaging, which was really just in its infancy in dentistry and in orthodontics at that point. The idea of creating a three-dimensional virtual patient was really just emerging, and this professor was really at the cutting edge. He was one of the most well-known, and he still is one of the most well-known researchers in that field. And he and I got along and we started working together. I started learning from him, and he was an orthodontist, and I started getting exposed to orthodontics and ideas of orthodontics, what orthodontics was, and that's really when the seed got planted. But the problem for me was that I really felt a lot of loyalty to my mom. And my mom and I had these plans, and I was telling her that I wanted to go to dental school and come back and work with her. And so I didn't really give myself permission to really consider ever being an orthodontist. I thought that was really off limits to me because I was loyal to my mom. Then I went to dental school finally, and in dental school, I loved the orthodontics classes. It just seemed like this whole other world to me than dentistry. And dentistry was great. I was happy cleaning teeth and doing fillings and crowns and root canals and all those other wonderful things that dentists do that I got to learn about in dental school. But there was just this chemistry, this passion that I started to have for orthodontics, and I loved how transformative it was. I loved how non-invasive it is, how you can start treating a patient, and when you're all done, you just take your braces off and they just have their teeth, and you haven't put anything into their body, you haven't they're so much better off. And I like the fact that it's a process that happens over time. That's really the way that I love to work. I love to work on projects over time, not just all at once. So I didn't mind not having the instant gratification. And I had the grades in school to be able to go. You have to be at the top of the dental school class to be able to be considered for a spot in an orthodontics residency program, in a training program for orthodontics. And so I had the grades, I had the test scores to be able to become an orthodontist. I get to be the artist, I get to be the doctor, I get to be the engineer, I get to be a leader for our team, I get to be the manager of our business. All those things that along the way I had identified that were important to me. And at the same time, I get to have my family. God's blessed me with an amazing wife, beautiful family, beautiful children. Right now I have 6 of them. And so I think if I were a neurosurgeon or a movie director, things would have played out a lot differently on the family side. But I get to have a really wonderful profession that I get to be a part of, that I'm satisfied by. And at the same time, I get to enjoy the family that I've always wanted to have as well. So that's my story. Would love to share with you more. There was a lot more that happened along the way that God used to bring me to this point, and look forward to sharing more with you in person.